Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another NinjaOne live stream. I'm Jonathan Crow, Director of Community here at NinjaOne. Hello, my fellow ninjas. So good to see you all once again. It's a big day. It is a day that will live, hopefully not in infamy, but more just femi. It's a big day. We're releasing 6.0 to North America. Our North American friends out there, you've been so patient. You've been suffering through the Canadians and the Europeans gloating over the new features introduced in 6.0. We're going to talk about those. Those are all available for you now. It's like Halloween coming early. Definitely more treats than tricks, although we have seen all the folks here in Discord, you're letting us know if there are any issues. You're doing the right thing. Submit tickets. Hop on Discord. Let us know. Share your ticket number, and we'll be teams hot on investigating, making sure things are going to roll out as smoothly as possible for you guys. All right. Yeah, Adam, that's right. Finally, here we go. I have with me two of our PMs here. Man, you all know this. Like, this is such a secret power. Well, not secret. This is like Ninja's obvious superpower. We have such a great product team, and our product managers here are deeply active in the Discord and elsewhere in external communities. Just so great at reaching out and working with you all to develop Ninja into the best platform that you want it to be, and they want it to be too. And so I have two of our shining stars here. First, we have Chris Williams, who is the product manager for patching. Chris, good to see you as always.
Thank you. Yep, happy to be here.
And the one and only Dan Myers.
I'm even happier to be here. So
our product lead on backup. And both of you guys have some cool things to share that were introduced in 6.0, things that, man, you guys have been working on for a long time, right? Like you've seen this through ideation, into early alpha and beta testing, QA, all the good stuff. And now you're unleashing it onto the world. And so I know you're proud of these things, as you should be. And we're looking forward to letting the folks know, hey, 6.0 is here. Let's make sure that you actually get to leverage it to its utmost potential. And so we're going to cover some of those key updates involving patching and backup. And if you have any questions about any of the other things that have been introduced in 6.0, let us know. Put it in the chat. Dive into Discord. We've like we mentioned, folks in EMEA and Canada have had a little bit longer to play around these features. And everyone's eager to share what they're doing and what they like and offer their tips and everything. So don't be shy. Hop in there. I also want to call attention to another webinar. If you missed it, this was posted about a few weeks ago, going on to a month ago. But we had a webinar with the one and only Jeff Hunter that went through a lot of the features that are included in 6.0 at a high level. And here we have our two product managers, backup and patching. We're going to dive a little bit deeper. So Chris, let's start with you. You have I would say that one of the buzziest new updates, because it has that word in it, doesn't it?
It does have that magical word, that AI.
So we mostly just did it so we could our valuation as a company could go up, right? But no, I think what we did right was we've enabled AI to take over everyone's computers and connect with other AI bots and take over the world. Isn't that what's happening?
We were trying not to say it out loud, but that's the quiet part.
I'm firmly on team. What is that principle? I'm on the team of like, yes, AI overlords, you're coming, and I am completely in support of you. I will not fight you. Let the record show that Jonathan is firmly on team AI. Let's go.
It's amazing we let you run these things in general, Jonathan. I'm still unsure of who to talk to about this, but all right, we're here.
All right, yeah. So no, we're not doing Skynet. Other companies are well ahead of us there. We're hurtling towards that terrible fate. But NinjaOne, let the honest record show that we are in fact not doing that. We're not rushing forward to progress that agenda. No, we're actually being cautious and being very mindful about how we're utilizing AI. So, Chris, why don't we bring us back down to earth? Stop my nonsense, and please explain to everyone what we're actually doing with AI in terms of.
Yeah, stop the nonsense. If you see my camera glitching, I blame AI. I feel it is attacking me.
See, this is why you got to be on the team.
You got to be on Team AI so that it won't attack your camera. Yeah, as Jonathan mentioned, like I am the product manager of patch management here at Ninja, and yeah, we do have this new feature, this patch sentiment AI feature. But I'm going to back up just a little bit and explain why this is useful, because effective patch management, I mean, it's critical to maintaining the security and health of all your systems that you manage. But I know just how challenging it can be to keep up with the sheer volume of updates. I see how many updates get processed through our system on a monthly basis. It can be a real challenge to determine which updates are beneficial and which ones might cause you new problems. And anyone who's been involved with patch management long enough can tell you a story of at least one patch that just broke everything. Like I have those horror stories. I managed patching for a number of years in a large enterprise environment. So I definitely have those stories that I'll share to anyone that wants to hear them in Discord. We want to help you avoid those issues. And so with that, we've to help you save time and understand where there might be problems with patches, we've introduced this new patch sentiment AI feature. And with that, we're using AI to analyze all of the Microsoft OS updates, all the Windows OS updates that you see within Ninja. This includes real world user feedback, and it provides you with real-time insights into the overview and sentiment surrounding each patch. And I don't know if can you show my shared screen? I'm going to dive into
Absolutely. Yeah, I know folks are eager to see it, and I pulled up that comment by Chris. Hey, Chris. The real Chris Thomas. He yeah, we kind of laughed at it. You posted it as a joke, but no, indeed. I mean, that's really what this is kind of all about.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's we actually do think that this is going to be a very useful feature for all patch management admins out there. We're already seeing it. We're seeing great feedback. We're seeing where this is helping users solve issues, sometimes long-standing issues they didn't realize that were possibly being caused by a patch that they had already deployed. So this is something I'm on my screen here. I'm going to show you how to enable it first and foremost, because this feature, it is available in early access to all users with 6.0. And I believe this is a first time ever for Ninja. We're allowing you to enable an early access feature yourself. You don't have to contact us. You can just turn it on whenever you want to play around with it and turn it off if you don't like it. So to turn it on, you need to go to the administration tab. I'm just in one of my local test environments now. Find the apps, and then you should see a new NinjaOne AI app listed in your apps list, and it will be disabled by default. We give you the freedom to decide when and where to use AI within the Ninja platform. So I'm going to go ahead and enable it. And then now that it's been enabled, you'll see the OS patch sentiment analysis feature listed. And so if I click on edit here, I can toggle it on and go ahead and click update. Now it's turned on in my environment. I should see with that, we are adding a new column. I'm actually going to switch my window to show a different view here. So yeah, this is just a different production test environment that I'm in right now. And so you'll see on here, we have this new KB analysis column. If you don't see that right away, what I would encourage you to do is go click on the table settings, and the column will likely be listed as one of your missing columns. So if you've configured this view in the past, we save that configuration. We're not going to add a column without you approving it. If you're missing that column, go to the table settings. It's probably there waiting to be added. You could also reset to default if you want to see it that way. That is an option there, but it'll reset all your column settings to default. So here, depending on the update, you're going to see different status values in this column. It could be blank. We're actually in the process of populating all of these right now. We're going and analyzing all of these KBs right now, catching up from the 6.0 release last night. So most of these should be populated by tomorrow, I would say. And you'll see it could be blank. It might show known issues. It might show that it appears to be stable. Or there is a third one, which I'll get to in a second, that says caution with a yellow AI star next to it. The appears stable means exactly what you think. Our AI hasn't found any issues with this update, but if new issues are reported later, we could change this status, and you'll see that in the Ninja portal. So here I'm showing you, this just shows the overview, like what is the purpose of this patch. We have the general overview, we have the purpose. You'll see a list of fixes that are in here, or potentially if there are security updates, we'll list the key ones that we find there as well. And then we also give you a general sentiment summary. So this is our AI. It's going out, it's looking at various sources to see what is the community sentiment around this patch. Are there any concerns that people are having? Are there any issues? Because this one is saying that there are this appears to be stable, then yeah, we're not going to see any immediate issues here. We also cite our sources. We believe in full transparency. We want to make sure that any source that we're using, you can see, you can click on, and you can navigate and find out that information for yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and close this and talk about known issues. So the known issues means that Microsoft themselves are reporting that there is an issue with this update. They released this update knowing that there was one or more known issues, and they will list those out for us. So I'm going to scroll down on this one, and I'm going to go to my cited sources. Like I mentioned, we like to show our work here. And so you can see there is a known issue section. And in this one specifically, it says that you might experience a black screen when you log into Azure Virtual Desktop. And it goes into detail about what that is. It also has a workaround or a fix available for this one in particular. If I navigate back, yeah, the workaround, like we show that on here. So the general sentiment, we talk about the black screen problem with Azure Virtual Desktop and how that's been raised up by some users. So this is one area where it can be helpful if you see known issues. I strongly recommend that you go look and see, what are we saying, what is Microsoft saying, so that way you can avoid any potential pitfalls there. And I'm going to switch my screen again and go to, let me see, this page here. So this one, I actually do have a caution that I wanted to show as well. I wanted to demonstrate this. So if NinjaOne AI says caution, I can't stress enough, like I strongly recommend reading our summary to find out why, because that means that we are seeing multiple issues, including some possible significant issues out in the field on that one. We're not going to try to overuse the word caution. We don't want to be the one crying wolf here. So if you see this, I would strongly recommend at least checking it out and see what's happening. This is from a normal cumulative update in March. This was a standard monthly update from Microsoft. And if I pull it up, let's see, I'll go to the general sentiment. It says the sentiment is mixed. While it was designed to improve security and resolve some issues, which we list some of the bug fixes up above, there are widespread reports of a blue screen of death, particularly with Lenovo devices. And so that's something that if you read that and you know that your environment is particularly Lenovo heavy, you have a lot of Lenovo devices, that might give you pause as far as implementing that as quickly as you would. So and I can click on, I'm not going to go to the Microsoft support one. I'll click on the latest one here. Again, citing sources. So you can see this is one article where it's talking about that specific issue with this KB, and goes into a little bit more detail here. And the last thing that I'll mention on here, actually real quick on the sources, we do source our data from multiple locations. It's a curated list that we manage internally, and we might add or remove sources over time as we understand the data that's coming back from those. Is it good data that we trust? So, I mean, right now you can see we have Windows latest, NinjaOne, Bleeping Computer, Microsoft directly, including the Microsoft community. We are pulling from them as well. We do, I'll show this disclaimer at the end, or I'll speak to it. Not so much for the disclaimer, but we do post a date for when we generated this data, a date and timestamp. So we do periodically check older KBs for any information that has changed. Has the sentiment changed? Has it gotten better? Has it gotten worse? Our NinjaOne AI will automatically update this information as needed. And we display that last generation date, that last update date and time, so you know when we made those changes for this particular patch. So with that, that is my demo, and I haven't been keeping up on chat, so I don't.
Well, it's cool. Well, thank you, Chris, for sharing. I've got a few questions, but then before I do, and I'm sure others do as well, let us have them, folks. But before we get into the questions, David Spooner, hey, David. David's always on it. He brings up, this is cool. Like literally this morning, he saw this. Like he's actually saw like the like this morning when this became available. This is relevant for him. Actually saw that patch that you brought up. So I asked, which one was that? And he said that the one that you showed, the example, is actually the one that he saw, Ninja reporting, the Ninja AI analysis reporting. And his team was already dealing with an issue, a ticket related to that. So he was able to share this with them. So super cool. Like this has been released, within hours, and he's already seen something useful from it. So super cool to see.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And that's exactly what we intended with this feature. Is like we want to call attention to when there are known issues or when there are serious issues, and put that information in your hands. We're not making decisions for you based on this data, but we want to give you that information, and it's just one extra data point to hopefully help save you time and save you from pulling your hair out. I know I'm still losing a lot from my days as a.
You're hanging on there, Chris. So
I'm hanging on. That's right.
Okay, so just to go back to actually, if you close out that analysis pop up there, can you remind us? What are the different things people can see? Is it basically known issues, appear stable? What are the other options?
And then there's one more. It's the caution.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the caution sentiment. I don't have that. I didn't have that listed here. I had that in a different environment to show, which I can pull up here. This is the caution.
No red alert with spinning emojis.
No,
we're not.
This update is Garbo. Yeah, dumpster
feature and request. Got it.
And you mentioned that Ninja, the AI will periodically, if there's updates and everything. Do you roughly know, like, for example, this one that that you highlighted and that David found as well, where there was caution, there's a known issue. Let's say they fix it tomorrow. Is there any expectation that would be updated fairly quickly?
So we run an analysis daily. We're going through all of the KBs daily. The ones that are most recent, so the ones from the last few months, those are the ones that we're going to check daily. Older ones, if they're older than several months, I believe it's 6 months, we don't run quite as often. We want to be cognizant and mindful of the resources that we're using for AI. But you will see this update on a daily basis. And so that's what we just released 6.0. And so that's some of these are populated now. The rest will be populated by end of day today, I would say.
Chris, is there any type of particular type of feedback that you're looking for in terms of folks looking at the information that's provided? Is there anything that you're particularly curious about or looking for, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, for me, with this particular feature, it's understanding, is this data useful? Is there something that's missing that could be more useful, or sources, like, are there locations, places that you go to find this information that maybe we're not pulling in yet? And so we want to continue enriching this data and making sure that it's as accurate and as robust as possible without we do want to limit. We don't want to just give you just pages after pages of information on every patch, but we want to have the best data surface to the top. And so any feedback that we can get there, like, is this useful? Is there something that we're missing? Let us know. Let me know. I'm in Discord every day. I'm always there, at least listening. I might not be able to reply as quickly as I would like to some messages, but I am always listening.
No, it's definitely much appreciated. I mean, everyone sees both you guys there and actively responding. And you're busy folks, so we definitely appreciate it. All right, so a couple of questions that came in before we move on here. Let's go back to chat. Okay, so first, Chris Thomas asks, what's next? This is awesome.
Right. Let's make it better. Yeah. So yeah, I see your question, Chris. That the answer is not yet. It's the always fun soon emoji, trademarked. That is something that we plan to implement, but I can't give you an exact timeline just yet. We want to make sure that the data is accurate first. If we don't want it to see any false positives, this is something new. We're going to continue monitoring it over the next few weeks and months, making sure that it's generating the data that we would expect and the answers that hopefully are helpful. So I would say yes, it is on the roadmap to be able to approve and deny patches based on this data, or at least give you the option to approve or deny patches or delay them even. But I can't give you a timeline just yet for that.
All right, and here we go. No thanks. Do updates that are set to approve after X days in the policy show up in that pending patch view? So this KB analysis could be reviewed for updates that will auto approve.
Yes. Yeah. Any patch that is waiting to be approved. So if you have a patch set to auto approve after X number of days, that's a feature that we released several months ago. They remain in the pending patch view for until they're automatically approved. So that the reason for that is so that if you want to approve something sooner, you can still go in. And even though, let's say, this one isn't scheduled to be approved for 2 more days, I could still go in here and I could force it to be approved right now. We do show this information. I'm going to the approved view, so you can see this in the approved view. I believe. I'll pull up installed. That's going to take a little bit longer to load in this environment. Yeah, so we do have it as well in the install view. So you can see this across all the views within OS patching. This is, I should throw out a caveat to that. This is specifically targeted, this iteration of the AI, Patch Sentiment AI, is targeting Windows OS updates specifically. We're looking at KB numbers.
Yeah, and that was another question as well. Can we expect to see this at some point apply to third-party patching?
That's on the roadmap. It's going to be more difficult to do. The KB numbers are easier, I'll say, because it's something unique that we can key off of that's universal across all the different data sources. For software, we want to make sure if we're doing that, we want to make sure we do it right, and that we're not telling you there's an issue with Chrome update 131 when maybe it's the 131 dot, like a specific point release. So It's something that we're looking at right now. I'll say that.
Great. Thank you, Chris. And let's see. Oh, here we go. Yeah. JP DIT services. I was totally just kidding. You did not overstep at all. There's a question. How much are we charging for this?
It is free. The very expensive price of free. So
yeah, I mean, I think this falls into the category of a lot like the warranty tracking, right? There's new products that Ninja's developing that do have a price that's attached to them, but there's a lot of things they're just seen as like these are quality of life improvements. These are things that are great, but we're not going to be nickel and diming you for every additional new improvement or feature. And so, yeah, awesome to see that it's free. Okay, let's see. Did any other questions before we move on to backup? I'm just going to make sure I didn't miss anything here. Chris, one other question I had. So looking at this view here, you mentioned that this is basically active moving forward. So patches that they're going to be releasing moving ahead, they're going to have this analysis attached to them. But then you also mentioned that there's going to be retroactive analysis too.
Yep. Yeah, we are going back and we're analyzing all patches from 2024 January onward. So yeah, this list will populate for older patches as well. So you should see more of this data showing up again later today. It's cache, so we've actually loaded most of this data, but because it's cached for about 12 hours, then it's not going to show up until probably tonight.
Cool. Thank you. Boop, boop. I just got a comment. I'm free of that QR code. You can see my beautiful face now. Lucky everyone. Okay. And then we do have one other question. It's not necessarily about AI, Chris.
Okay.
I would guess an answer to this, but I'd rather you give the correct answer. Are you able to push patches based on a workstation model? I.e., in that example, have it skip over Lenovo because there was that in that problem patch. Microsoft has specifically called out this is particularly affecting Lenovo workstations.
So the way that we manage patches today, the way that we organize and group them is through policies. And so what I would recommend in this case is have a policy that is specific to Lenovo devices, or however you want to configure those. You can do inherited policies. And so you have your master policy and then you have child policies underneath those. That's how I would recommend managing that here. But there are definite options there.
All right. Great. Let's see. So before we kick it over officially to Dan here, our lovely community here refuses to let an opportunity when a PM is on a call to to pass without letting them know, hey, they're still waiting for dark mode.
Yes, always waiting for dark mode. What I will say to this, and Dan can speak up too, is that we've seen demos of dark mode internally. So
I just saw one yesterday. It looks great.
It looks great. You guys are gonna love it. You're just gonna have to wait a little bit longer.
Wow.
It's I know we've been waiting a while, right? This is not as easy as doing a browser plugin. You've seen it. It looks like garbage when you do that. I mean, like we literally had to remake every UI component. We had to go touch every single UI component to basically glue in different color palettes for different options. So that's why it takes so long. But trust me, it'll be worth the wait. Yeah.
Yeah. And to Dan's point, like we are also, as we're redoing those, we're making sure every component is ADA compliant in North America. That's Americans with Disabilities Act. Making sure that everything works for screen readers, for users that are colorblind. Like there's been a lot of testing and thought put into this to make sure that we're accommodating all our users. So that's part of the explanation for why it's taken so long. But we desperately want it. It's coming.
When you see it, you're going to be like, how much more dark could it get? And the answer is none more dark. All right. So we had one other question. They snuck in under the line here. Regarding the patch sentiment analysis. Any recommendations for how long folks wait
to delay pushing patches?
Yeah, to give the system time. I guess another way to put it is, a patch releases, any rough estimate before a sentiment analysis is given.
I mean, the sentiment analysis should be available within 24 hours of any patch coming out. If you want to wait to see that before you approve a patch, by all means, please do. Just a general overview or general guideline for how long to wait before applying patches. It's really going to depend on your environment and your comfort level. Typically, most users, I would ask anyone here in the chat if they have recommendations too. I'd say most of our users, if they're more cautious, they wait at least 2 days, even for the critical patches. But we have a lot of users that push out critical patches immediately too. So it really just depends on your environment and your use case.
And your appetite for risk. Okay, yes. So let's see. Rob asked with AI, any AI features? And again, I guess Rob, this is the AI feature right now. We haven't gone into AI for scripting or anything like that at the moment. And so, but I guess good question, Chris. Is there anything within this that's exposed to via the API?
Not yet. We will look to add this column, the KB analysis column. We'll look to expose that as far as a return value in the API. That's probably as far as we would go with this one, because there's no mechanism to force a patch to generate AI data. We don't have that yet. So that really it's just about making that data more readily available. And so you'll see that in future releases.
Awesome. This is a little bit outside. So question about OIDs. Are there any incoming updates regarding those in the next year? And Christopher, maybe if you want to give a little bit more context there, what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'd probably need more information on what's being asked there.
Yeah, while we wait for that, okay. David saying, to your point, Chris, that they usually wait 7 days for patches. So thanks, David, for sharing that. Okay, really quickly. Sorry. Here we go. Certification courses. There's if you're referring to the NinjaOne Academy, it is available to anyone. For the public, I guess it's available to any NinjaOne customer. So if that's what you're implying, is that when is it going to be available to non-customers? Not sure about the answer there. But for any NinjaOne customer, you can get to the NinjaOne Academy. I'll drop a link in here in a minute while Dan's going through his showcase. And you can always reach out to your AM and they can help you out there too. All right, Dan, you have a ton of updates. Chris is just supposed to be so quick.
It was, but I'm used to that.
But Dan, you have a ton of updates. You as the PM of backup, man, I just talking with Sal recently, he was calling out how much has been pushed across the line with backup, and this was a huge release for you. So yeah, definitely wanted you to come on and share some of the things you're most excited about and what everyone here on the call should be excited about too.
Absolutely. I'm excited to do that. I can get to play roulette here with sharing my screen because it only says show screen 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I don't know which one's which. So we're gonna go for it.
Screen roulette. Is that what this is?
Wonderful. First off, y'all have been so patient. I wanted to give you a couple of quick looks at dark mode. Whoa! First one here. All right. Here's a nice little preview. But good luck, and there is your dark mode preview. So don't say we haven't shown you anything.
Boo.
All right, jokes aside. I have a ton, and I'm going to rapid fire. We're going to pump up the pace a bit here. We're going to rapid fire through some of the new features, and then we're going to talk about the big one that is released. So first of all, a couple of quick quality of life enhancements here. So when you're looking at our backup at an organization, we've added a new column called Last Seen, allowing you to understand when this machine was last seen in Ninja, giving you a great indication of if they haven't had a successful backup recently, have they even been on, right? So obviously we have the data to tell you when that workstation, when that server was actually last seen, giving you a little bit more quality of life there. Now, when it comes to our image backup product here, we have always had the capability running in our cloud here and being able to download a store option available. You've seen this in file folder, but now in image, you can mount the drive, go in, get a folder, and send it to the original location or any other machine that has a has NinjaOne backup enabled. Also, while we're talking about, I made a quick mention of a file folder here. I want to share a file folder job on a machine specifically. You get a nice little multi-select option depending on what you're looking for. Previously, you had to add each one at a time, which is not great. We like to continue to make things as easy as possible for you. And please, I'm working in a test environment because I'm going to be showing you some new features. So sorry about the little red. Make this easy for you to onboard new customers. So we're going to give you the flexibility to turn on backup from our device search page, being capable of adding multiple agents. So you take on a new client, you can come in here and look at their Windows servers for that organization, multi-select them, and just enable them and ready to go. So now we're going to talk about one of the biggest features here that we have, and it is our new image platform. I'm going to talk about it and show it here in just a second. I want to share some of the new features that we have. First of all, let's talk a little bit about our old image system here, which is officially being called Legacy today. If you are using our image backup product, it's going to be called Legacy. Here's the deal. Is it going to be end of life? Yes. When? Not anytime soon. Don't worry. We are not the type of company that is going to say, hey, 2 months, get in or get lost. We'll put out more information in the future. But our legacy image platform required periodic full backups in order to trim any sort of retention. I've always made the adage of, if you're trying to keep 30 days, you can't just say on day 31, drop the full, or day 32, drop the first incremental. We required all backups, which increased our storage utilization by having to keep more fulls equals more storage. And additionally, we required to scan the entire volume looking for changes. While we were capable of scanning quicker through the entire volume and only writing when necessary, it still meant that we had to scan the entire drive. So moving into what our new system allows for us to do today is we have what we're calling our chainless backup technology. This is going to allow us to have a granular set of retention rules, and I'll be showing this. It'll allow you to choose how much overall backups do you want to keep. You want to keep 6 months? That's great. Why don't you tell me how many days of daily you want, how many weeks of weekly, and the rest we'll keep as monthly points, meeting your goals. You will no longer ever need to take another full backup after your first initial one. And because we're capable of dropping points out right after you've kept 7 days worth of daily, I'm not going to keep the 8th day. What that means for us is we basically understand the position of every block of data that we've backed up and where it lives on that volume at any revision point in time. Meaning we're capable of deduplicating duplicate blocks. I don't need to keep the same block every single time I see it, which means we have a great overall benefit of we are reducing our storage consumption. Less fulls, one full. You don't have to keep every single point. So today, if you're trying to keep 60 days worth of backup, you would have had to keep 60 points minimum, right? If you're working at a daily frequency. Now you want to keep 6 months of backups. You're talking at our default, what? 7 days a daily, 4 weeks a weekly, 11 so far. Call it 5 more. You're keeping under 20 backup points for 6 months up to a year. And so again, less points equals less storage. I talked about deduplication, faster backups. We no longer need to scan the entire volume. We know what the state of the volume was when we finished our backup. When we start a backup, we take our VSS snapshot, we compare the two, and we know exactly the different blocks of data that have changed, and we go and back them up. How much really changes on a disk from backup to backup? Now, you would be surprised, right? We're taking block level backups. You'd be surprised all the little tiny little bits and bytes that are changing each time. However, the vast majority of disk doesn't change. And so we are rapidly reducing our time to backup. We're launching our new image backup product as cloud only today. Hybrid is already in a it will be in an early access state in our next release, release number 7. We did this because as much as it makes me sad, most of our customers are only using cloud only. And that's where we're starting our product out. But we're going to be releasing it in hybrid. When hybrid comes around, you don't have to recreate your plan from scratch. You're just going to switch it. So we're going to take a look at this. Oh, and the final point of what our 6.0 release is, congratulations, anyone using NinjaOne Backup, all your backups are now immutable. So we've turned on immutability basically on the back end. We've enhanced the security of our tools and permissions that we use of when and how data can ever be deleted. And so now we get to call ourselves immutable, which is very important. All right. We're going to take a break, and by that I mean slow down and actually show you some screens, okay? So taking a look here and going into our platform, I'm going to change this just to see how you show it today, all right? Now, by default, you might be aware that in, for example, like our file folder plan, you could come in here and have multiple plans worth of file folder, and you were capable of creating multiple legacy image backup plans. This has provided a lot of chaos, and most of the reasons people have needs in the first place. Backup, much like our good friend Chris in patching, is a single set of settings in the policy. You don't get to create multiple patch plans. You don't get to create multiple image backup plans, okay? And what does this look like here? So you're capable of setting your schedule and time, but then the retention, this is the big one, right? Where we're allowing you the flexibility to say how many daily backups you want to keep, how many weekly backups you want to keep. And we're not going to make you do math. We'll just do monthly until the rest is complete. Now, you have the flexibility of actually seeing each volume and seeing how much is used free if you want to exclude it.
Hey, Dan, sorry to interrupt. But when you're in here, there's a couple things where as you're going down, your audio cut out just a little bit. So if you could back up for just like the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think that was, I just started at that point, right? I feel like 30 seconds.
Yeah, no, you had gone down, not quite that far.
No, no problems.
Oh, it happened again. It's happening right now.
Oh, that's odd. It just started happening now?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Granular retention, allowing you to choose the amount of daily backups that you're keeping, the amount of weekly backups that you're going to keep, and we'll keep monthly and tell the rest without having you to do math. Now, when you're at the node level, and this is coming in the most upcoming release here in 7, but we will give you that flexibility of choosing which volumes you're going to exclude or keep. By default now, we've moved from an exclusionary model where in our legacy, do you want a backup system? Do you want to back up all? Do you want to back up custom volumes? We believe that most people, when you're talking about an image backup product, you're here to back up the machine. Of course, you still may want to exclude individual volumes. And when you're at that policy level, we're going to let you come in here and say, I don't want the R drive. That's my archive, right? Now we're also going to give you the flexibility of doing something like that, excluding a volume based on its volume name. All right. So it was very common for me in MSP land to say, well, I'm going to name all my SQL log on the volume so that it doesn't back them up. Those are useless to back up. Or archive. Or cache. Okay, we're going to let you do this by volume name, so you might be capable of standardizing across your computers that you manage here. We have some pretty standard pre and post scripts capable here, but this is our major advancement here. It is a completely new engine. I'm going to get some questions I know about, do I have to recreate my plan? Yes, you do. We are not doing any migrations, quite frankly, because that's scary. And I don't want to support migrating data. Moving your backup data is a scary proposition. We want you to always be in control of that. The good news is you don't have to run both at the same time. You can for the first couple of days if you'd like to try it out and see how things are going. But when you're ready, you can disable that legacy plan. Retention will continue to trim based on your legacy plan rules, and you'll begin taking backups on a much more efficient storage platform. So you should already become net positive on starting to store less information quite quickly. So what we do have coming, like as I said, in the 7 is we're introducing hybrid and a couple of great features here. You're able to keep separate local and cloud retention schedules here. So you could say, keep my local for 2 months, but keep my cloud for 6 months. And you're able to set those granular retention windows appropriately. We'll give you hourly options, and we'll also give you a couple that are, sort of good ideas and industry standards, but also we'll give you the flexibility here of coming in and choosing which hours you want your backup to run. You want to run every day at 12, click it. You want to click 2, how about every hour on Wednesday, right? And no matter what you choose, we're going to try and provide you a great little recap here so that when you have this set to custom, we give you when the backup runs. So that is a very quick overview of what we have going on here. I think it's probably a good time to pause for questions. Jonathan, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's see. So I pinned a few questions here. Let's go to those. And folks, feel free to ask Dan more questions. So the first one, Christopher submitted a couple of them. So let's bring his up. He's asking about SQL backup.
As of 6.0, we're capable of doing that. So we changed the VSS mode. So we've always been SQL. We've always been VSS aware. And from my understanding, we were capable of truncating logs in SQL under specific circumstances, things like simple recovery mode. But now we've changed the VSS mode from copy to full, which is what actually sends that signal to other VSS writers that take the backup trigger. You have to give the backup trigger to these things. So you should be good to go on testing this today. If you run into any issues, let us know. We'll be happy to take a look. But we did some pretty extensive research on this, and thankfully it was a kind of a small change.
Nice. All right. Look at that. Fulfilling the dreams. Is it immutable on NAS and cloud storage?
Just immutable in our cloud storage here. We do chunk encrypt, at rest and in transit, but it's still encrypted on the local device, but it isn't, immutable. No one can stop you from going to your NAS and clicking the delete button.
All right. And then from Rob, infinite reverse chain backups? Question mark.
I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily accurate, because infinite reverse, as I understand it, means they kind of hydrate the full always at the front of the chain. And I don't really think that matches. I do think chainless matches, because there's no chain. It's more of a index of referenced points that we're capable of mapping at any given time.
Thank you, Dan. I couldn't help thinking of Uno. Okay. Let's see. Any other questions, everybody? Let's go to all comments here. Let's see. Thank you, guys. I'm playing catch up now. Oh, thank you. You're okay.
So here's one that I see. How about automated test restores and standby clone restores?
Yep.
So we are currently working on a automated boot verification system right now. It's an active development, and I want to hear from you on this. So, you guys can reach out to me in the backup channel. Like, I really need some feedback here. I want to understand your needs, your frequencies, your schedules, everything that you need in this product, right? So our goal is to be able to periodically spin up a machine that is using our image backup product, and it will boot the machine. We're using AWS storage, so we've got some compute right there ready for us to utilize, and we will spin it up, take an actual snapshot of the login screen, and classify it as successful or failure based on that. Maybe a couple other things, such as if we see a specific process running or a service running. But I really need some feedback on getting the product in place that you need, right? In product management, we have to make trade-offs. Chris knows this, right? I can't get everything in, but I can get an appropriate level into the first iteration that we will continue to iterate on. I'll give you an example. We're looking at frequency right now. Okay. We're looking at what is the minimum frequency that I need to be able to deliver to our customers. Is it monthly? Is it twice a month? Is it weekly, daily? Because these things matter when it terms of the things that we are building. And so I need some feedback, and would love to talk to you. So please reach out to me on Discord, and would love to get your input.
You can join our Discord with that QR code, by the way. I know a lot of you folks are already in there and sharing lots of awesome feedback and comments, so thank you for that. Okay, so let's stick with you, Rob. You got a lot of good questions here. And
by the way, that takes to continue to answer your other half of the question. Once I solve boot verify, then the next step, in my opinion, is, and we'll take your feedback, right? Why not just let it run from the cloud? Give me some networking capabilities. Our understanding is when a disaster happens, you need to stop the bleeding, and then you will choose your proper recovery path. And so boot verify is the first step in terms of like additional recovery opportunities.
All right, let's go over to no thanks again. Thanks for the questions. If you already have image backups for a server using the legacy setup, how do you use these new imaging features?
Absolutely. So now, many of you have been in our open beta. Now it should just be there. And so when you go to your policy section, an individual machine or an entire policy, now you should see backup, Image, file folder, legacy. Image is where you're going to enable that plan and get started. Awesome. And when you're ready, you can turn off legacy.
Let's see. Let's go over to Robert here.
I don't quite know what this means.
Yeah. I certainly don't. So Robert, I mean, this is something that if you drop this, if you are in the Discord, you can drop this in to remind Dan and he can get you an answer later.
Cool. Any other questions we have?
Yeah, so there is, this goes back, not necessarily back related, although it certainly could touch on that. But we have reporting. Is there a way to automate the export of the activity logs?
Is this related to I'm sorry, did you say this is related to backup or?
Well, I'm assuming Zibby, if that is incorrect, let us know. But I'm assuming that this is backup related.
Yeah, we can get some clarity on that and take it in our Discord channels. Feel free to ping me directly or anyone. We can take a look at that.
Yeah, and then I'm just going to touch on this one really quickly, even though it's not backup related. Will be possible in reporting to get a report that lists time spent on tickets by organization. The person to ping here, well, first of all, if you go into Discord, you'll see there is, we have separate channels for the different primary products, ticketing, backup, MDM, etc., the main line. And Luke Whitelock is the product manager for ticketing and documentation. If you drop that question in there, he'll be able to help you out.
Yep. And I do want to share one other teaser on for our image platform here. So in between now and before 7, we are going to be releasing already image 1.1, as I sort of call it. We talked about that we've reduced our storage consumption overall by keeping less backups, keeping less fulls. We've also found an opportunity to further reduce storage by lowering our incremental size on average an additional 50 to 70% with this new feature. I talked about that it was block based, where we've basically found some new, as the engineer showed me, I called it black magic, and it's pretty awesome. So we're already lean, but we'll be even leaner. So get excited for that.
Awesome. Dan, thank you so much. And last call for questions, folks. I know we touched on a lot, so exciting patching, deep dive in the backup updates. There's lots more that's in 6.0, and I encourage you to drop into Discord, reach out to your account manager. They're more than happy to go over what's new and what they can turn on for you. A lot of folks are asking about warranty. That's a big one where we are still asking that folks go through their AM for some reasons that came up in the chat, bandwidth issues and things, but it's something that is available. Just go through your AM. I also wanted to drop the link again. There's a webinar that Jeff Hunter put on that went through another overview. And then there's the release notes there in the dojo. So I'll grab that link as well and drop it here. This was recorded. We're here on YouTube. The second that this stream is done, you'll be able to go back and watch the replay and everything. And we actually have another event coming up that I need to certainly draw attention to. For our, I think this is our 4th year doing this, which is crazy. And this year it's extra special because we get to do it on the actual Halloween date. So next Thursday, October 31st, Halloween, come join us, everybody. You can get in costume if you want to or not. But we're having IT Horror Fest. It's a celebration of everything that's terrifying about IT and also survival tips and skills of how you guys conquer those terrors. We're going to be joined by some awesome IT experts. We got Tom Lawrence from Lawrence Systems. We got Adam Walter from Humanize IT. We have our own Kyle Spooner and others that are going to be joining us. And they're going to be doing a tabletop, running through some things and just walking through the year in review so far and what the biggest horrors were and how folks have been solving those things. We're also going to be doing a contest. I'm going to drop details here in the chat after this is the YouTube comments, the YouTube description, excuse me, and also in Discord, where we want to hear from you. What's your biggest IT boogeyman that keeps you up in the night? What scares you most? We want to hear that. Submit those comments, and you'll be entered to win some cool prizes that I'll give more details on later. So anyway, just want to get that on your radar. It's going to be a lot of fun. Next Thursday, Halloween, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So hope to see you guys there. And Dan, Chris, thank you so much for taking time as always. Thank you everybody in the audience for joining us. We'll keep the conversation going in Discord, and we'll be back with another Like a Ninja live stream in a couple weeks. Thank you all. Take care. Have a good